Once upon a time, there was a village called Paper Village. In Paper Village, the grown-ups look like this, and the children look like this. In the year of 1985, a special paper was born in Paper Village. Like all the other paper children, she was blank and pure, just like this. Her parents were very happy, and they also told her that she should be very lucky for being born in Paper Village, because here you are free and you have all the possibilities in the world. They also told her that the purpose of life was to fill out your paper with whatever you like to fill it out with. Well, before they sent her away to start filling it out, they wanted to put one thing on it: Filippa, because a little paper girl, of course, needs a name. Little paper Filippa took off, and she started to fill out her paper with everything that she saw and that she liked, just as her parents had told her to. She filled it with birds and trees and music and drawings. Afterwards, she happily ran home to her parents to show them everything that she had found. Her parents, though, weren't as happy about the things that they saw. They started to cross things out and wrote down things that they thought were more suitable. Things like nice, polite, and responsible. Soon other adults in the village also started to write words at Filippa's paper, sometimes words that she didn't even understand. What she did understand, though, was that when her parents had told her that she could fill her paper with anything, it didn't actually mean anything. She realized it was much easier for her to try to understand and become the words that had been written for her than the other way around. So that's what she did, and soon there was nothing on the paper that she had actually written herself, and she had almost forgot about the birds and the trees and the music that were there from the beginning. In Paper Village there was a big river. The main activity for the papers in the village was to jump into the river. All the papers in the village did it every day, and they all talked about it as if it was the best thing in the world. One day it said on Filippa's paper that she was good enough and that she should also jump into the river. And so she did. But the river was not as great as everyone had talked about. It was actually horrible. It was cold, and the stream was so hard that she got thrown around and hit by the rocks and the other papers. And of some reason, no one was even holding on to each other to help each other out. Every time Filippa tried to jump into the river, she went through the same struggle, and she came out bruised and hurt, and she got smaller and smaller and smaller until she was this small. When she had become that small, Filippa started to feel that something was not right. And one day, when she was on her way to the river, she turned around instead, and she ran in the opposite direction, over the hills and through the big forest. She ran and ran and ran, and she ended up in the desert, almost as far away as you can get from Paper Village. Here she started to walk and search for something that she did not yet know what it was. Since she had never been outside Paper Village before, it was of course hard to know what she was actually hoping to find here. But she was quite sure she would find something, so she just kept on walking, searching. All of a sudden she bumps into another paper. "Hello, little one. I'm Mr. Paper. What are you doing here?" "Well, I'm just looking for something. But now I'm very confused, because you seem like an adult, but your paper is unfolded. I've never seen an adult that is unfolded before. Where I come from, it's only the children." "Well, I want to tell you something. You don't have to be folded like that. It's not very nice, huh? Where I come from, it's different." And Mr. Paper started to tell a story about the place far away where he came from, where the papers were very different and lived total different lives than back in Paper Village. After Mr. Paper had finished his story, Filippa thanked him and told him she needed to continue the search, and she started walking again. Along the way she met lots of other papers, some of them also unfolded, just like Mr. Paper, and they all told her stories about other papers and other villages far away. For every paper she met and for every story she heard, her own paper slowly started to unfold as well. Then one day she reached a village. The village was called No-Fold Village. In No-Fold Village there was a whole village full of unfolded papers. It was something about No-Fold that just made it feel okay to unfold. So even if it also felt very, very scary, Filippa decided to also do it. She was now unfolded again. The words on the paper were visible to everyone. Some words that the grown-up back in Paper Village had written there a long time ago had almost faded away, but they had still left their marks. The trees and the birds and the drawings that she had put there from the very beginning had become more visible. And there were also many new words on the paper that had been collected from all the other papers and all the stories that she had heard. Some of them she could feel very proud of. Inspiration, creative, courage. There was also other words there that she was not as proud of. Insecure, vulnerable, sad. The other papers in the village looked at her, and they not only accepted all the words that they saw, they actually appreciated them and even honored them. Filippa stayed in Knowfold village, and she had the best time of her life. In Knowfold they also had a river like back in Paper Village, except here when they jumped they also held on to each other and they helped each other out not to get caught in the stream. You could say that the story ends here in Knowfold village and that Filippa lived there happily ever after. But this is not a story like that. One day Filippa decided to go back to Paper Village. This might not make sense to you since Knowfold village seems like a much happier and nicer place than Paper Village. But while Filippa for a while had forgot about the fact that she was actually searching for something, or maybe she thought she had found it, she all of a sudden remembered again. And she knew that there was still at least one word missing for her paper to be complete. And she also knew that this was not to be found on the outside anymore. So one day she went back to Paper Village and she started doing this.